When you hear people laughing, what do you want to do? You want to find out what they're laughing about, am I right? And join in. I sure do. Here's another question for you. What is something that terrifies most Christians and those who aren't Christians? I think it's this, talking about faith, telling others what God has done in your life. I had the privilege of speaking to 400 women in Niagara Falls. Not in the falls, but you know what I mean. I've always found it ironic to be asked to speak at ladies' conventions because back in high school, back when I desperately wanted to speak with women, they would not give me the time of day, nor would they return my calls. But now that I'm a happily married, slightly past middle-aged man, I'm asked often to speak with them. And I love to. It is a great privilege. A time or two I've told them that it's always been a dream of mine to be in a room filled with ladies and all of them listening to me. And they find that funny. In fact, as I talked with them near the falls, we laughed so much together. I talked about kids and tough times and about Jesus. And on the Sunday morning, something very interesting happened. I noticed a gentleman sneaking into the room and sitting at the back. And that made two of us, guys, you know. Afterward, he came to me. He was so excited. He wanted to tell me what happened. I play in the bar band here in the hotel, he said. We played until 2 this morning, but I couldn't sleep. So I got up and I walked around. And this morning I walked past this room and I heard all these women laughing. I thought, what? What do you have to laugh about on a Sunday morning? I asked one of the ladies if I could come in and she said, sure. I couldn't believe it when I heard you talking about Jesus. I've never heard of people laughing in church. I always thought of church as boring. He held out a piece of paper to me. He'd been taking notes. My parents live in Boston, he said. They've been praying for years that I'd come home to Jesus. That's the way they put it. Their prayers were answered this morning. You know, I'm always amazed and grateful when God does what he does best, makes people aware of how awesome he is. And yes, sometimes God even uses laughter as part of the process. I believe laughter is a powerful magnet to the kingdom of God. I've seen it when I speak and write. Humor breaks down barriers and smuggles ideas into people's hearts like few vehicles I know. One of my books is called Laughing Matters. A New Yorker wrote to tell me that he was reading it in a restaurant and got laughing so hard he was embarrassed, looking around. And a guy in the restaurant got up, came over, and dropped a $20 bill on the table. He said, I want to buy that book from you. I need to laugh. A lady in Iceland emailed to say this, I was reading your book in the living room and I was laughing so hard that my husband came from the kitchen. He is, well, not a man of faith. He said, I thought that was a Christian book. I find that kind of sad. But he has since read it cover to cover, she said. So have our children. You know, in reading the Bible, I simply can't find this long-faced Christianity. You read the book of Acts carefully and you'll notice how many times the word joy is used as the church just explodes in growth. Peter, in his famous Acts 2 sermon, quotes the psalmist, "You will fill me with joy in your presence." Saul was dragging believers off to prison, trying to destroy the church. But then Acts 8 tells us that there was great joy in that city. Acts 14 has Barnabas and Paul telling the crowd that God has shown himself to them in 3 ways. He's given them rain from heaven and crops in their seasons. He provides them with plenty of food and fills their hearts with joy. Has God filled you with joy? I know sometimes it's pretty hard to find. But as we make a conscious decision to focus on what God has done and is doing, the joy will come and even overflow. Singer and actress Bette Midler said, if somebody makes me laugh, I'm his slave for life. Laughter is a gift we've ignored too long in our relationships. So let's open up this gift and pass it around all day today. Subscribe or the duck gets it.